Casey Porter here for DodgerPokeReport.com. Again, another very special guest joins us this evening on DodgerPokeReport.com, Dodger Poke Report YouTube, all of the social media platforms for Dodger Poke. And again, Michael, we want to welcome you into this session and thank you very, very, very much. I know we probably, interrupted a game of golf that you got going on here in the off season, but we appreciate you coming in with us.
Yeah, thanks for having me on. I'm out in Arizona right now. Yeah, got around to golfing today, so life's good.
Life is tough. Life is tough. An old boy from Wheeling, West Virginia, living the good life in Arizona, huh?
Yes, sir.
Let's talk about Wheeling, West Virginia, I should say. Wheeling Park High School. You had just a fantastic career there. All-star team from the Sports Writers 2 years in a row there in West Virginia. Ohio Valley Conference Player of the Year, #2 player coming out of West Virginia, I believe, in the year of 2015, if that's correct. And then obviously played for the legendary Coach McLeod. And before we get into Coach McLeod, I kind of want to put you on the spot just a little bit here. And I got to say, a lot of people think Coach McLeod is the greatest athlete ever to walk the halls of Wheeling Park High. So is it Coach McLeod or is it Michael Grove? Which one is it?
I don't know if I have the argument there. He was, from everything I've heard, he was special. He was first team All-State football, basketball, baseball, obviously drafted by the A's way back when. But I like to think I'm in the conversation, though.
Yeah, absolutely, no doubt. And one thing that I've been in the coaching industry myself for 30 years. And one thing that really strikes me about you is your sense of pride in your community, your sense of home. From at least the way that I understand it, you go back and throw bullpens to the catchers there at Wheeling Park High School when you had time in the past, especially when you're at West Virginia. Throw BP to them. You show up at state tournament games when you have time. So just talk about growing up in Wheeling, West Virginia, the perfect mid-sized to small town in America, growing up, getting to play for your high school, being such a star there, and just your amateur career and your high school days.
Yeah. Like you said, it's really the epitome of, small town, kind of like Friday Night Lights type of town. And, I was lucky enough to play football and experience that. But honestly, there's not a ton of people from my city that play professional sports. There are a couple that play in college, Division I. So for me, I get to go home and see all my friends and see everybody, and everybody's really excited about what I'm doing, and everybody pays attention. And there's just not a whole lot of people that come out of Wheeling and have the opportunities that I've had. So I definitely take that to heart. And anytime I have an opportunity to kind of give back or be around and just be someone that people can talk to, kind of guide people if they have questions, I like that opportunity.
Yeah, that's fantastic. And, obviously that sense of community that you just heard Michael talk about in his last answer there led him to go to the local university, what I call the local university. Me being a guy from Oklahoma, that small town, go to the local, I'm a big Oklahoma State fan, go to the local university and help them as much as you can. Attended West Virginia and really took off at West Virginia. And, you go from Coach McLeod to Randy Mazey. I mean, man, you have had some tremendous coaches. And then obviously Steve Sabins is there at West Virginia. Mark Ginther's an Oklahoma boy. Great coach. So you went from one great coaching staff at Wheeling Park High School in Wheeling, West Virginia, to another great coaching staff with Coach Mazey and the group there at West Virginia.
Yeah, absolutely. And I was not there I think Ginther's first year was the year I got drafted. But with Mazey and Sabins, were there my whole tenure. And like you said, I mean, great coaches. It was a great spot for me to be, and they really helped me kind of figure out who I was as a player. Because coming out of high school, I was pretty raw. I played a lot of shortstop. There were half the schools that were recruiting me as a shortstop. So, they kind of identified who I was and kind of saw the future for me and what that vision would be. And then helped me kind of create what I took on from there into the next level and who I am today. So I owe a lot to those guys for sure.
You mentioned you're a shortstop in high school, and I want to embarrass you just a little bit and just let everybody know that I believe your lifetime batting average in high school was pushing right at 500. Would I be correct there?
Did you say 500?
Well, it was in the mid fours. I was
What
going.
is it? Yeah,
I
it was
think it was
close.
about somewhere around 450. I was going to make it sound a little bit better saying pushing 500.
Yeah.
Anyways, you're at West Virginia.
My senior year was like 60. So.
Oh, nice, very nice, very nice. And obviously,
yeah. Toot my own horn.
Being that shortstop guy that a lot of major league pitchers played shortstop in high school, but it really helps you be a good athlete
right.
as far as fielding the ball and playing and fielding your position at pitcher. So that's a fantastic thing for you. And not only that, you're also a guy that's been on several different honor rolls, dean lists. So obviously the academics were huge to you. And that kind of brings me into my next point that I want to bring with you. The Dodgers are an organization. I don't think it's a secret that believe in analytics. And I'm sure you have a lot of analytics at the tip of your thumb every single time that you pitch. And with all of the, the awards that you've won in the past for all of your academics, being a smart guy like you are, is that a constant battle each day, or is that something that you just absolutely love, having all those analytics at your fingertips?
It's great. Like the resource is amazing. And I think that, it's very valuable, especially for young pitchers as soon as they get in, because you don't get a lot of it in college. But I think at the same time, that you also have to kind of at some point move from, you learn about yourself and you learn what makes you good and where you can access the zone with different pitches and that kind of thing. But then there's a point when you have to kind of move on and just compete.
Sure.
And I think that, I think that it's really, really valuable and really important for development. But then I also think that you have to kind of turn a corner, because I had to do it myself, where you're not trying to impress the track man, you're trying to get people out. So I think you tailor your craft and your game around the analytics, and then you take that. And then once you're in the game, though, I think you just have to compete and, read swings and figure out what guys are trying to do against you. And maybe it's not exactly what you planned going in, but you adjust on the fly. So I just think you can't be so reliant or cookie cutter on it, kind of, to where you're attacking every right-handed hitter the same way. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's fantastic. And that's a great answer to that. And every time I ask a pitcher in a professional organization that question, I'm always hoping to get the answer that I heard just from you. And that is that, it's not, it's not that we don't like it. We do like it. It's very helpful, but you just simply can't be a slave to it. I mean, you've got to use it in a way that helps you. So, I mean, I think that's a great way to look at it. I love the answer you gave there. But moving on from your West Virginia days, obviously you got off to a fast start. Your honorable mention, all rookie team in the Big 12, and then your second team Big 12, your second year at West Virginia. Things were looking up for you, and then, like so many baseball players, especially pitchers nowadays, and power pitcher guys like you, here comes the Tommy John your third year. So take us through 2018. I believe it was 2018 you had Tommy John. Take us through that third year of 17, 18. Take us through that third year of college where you had Tommy John, and then obviously take us from that to getting drafted in the second round, even though you had the Tommy John in 2000 or whatever year it was, your third year of college.
Yeah. So, I had Tommy John in 17. It was halfway through my 17 season. So I missed the back half of my sophomore year and then all of my junior year.
Yeah.
So, I mean, and I'm sure for everybody is going to tell you that it's bad timing, and it was for me as well, just with not being able to put like an entire sophomore year tape together and all that. And then, missing your junior year, from a team standpoint, is just, demoralizing, because, I want to be out there. I want to be out there competing and playing with my teammates. But then, going into the draft, it was kind of like a toss up, because I didn't have the junior year, and I was just talking to teams, and there were a couple that were interested, and I told them, it's going to be first day or I'm probably not going to sign. The Dodgers rolled the dice on me, and I was, incredibly thankful for that. It was honestly a tough decision signing, but I really liked what the Dodgers had to offer, especially from the rehab perspective. So I made the decision to sign, and I think that was a great decision looking back.
As a Dodgers fan, I would agree. And obviously, I think the Dodgers took you based on the power arm, obviously a big arm. You've reached as high as 97, and then obviously the big time curveball that you bring behind that. Now, those aren't the only two pitches you have, but two big time pitches for you. But I wanted to ask you, talking about the Tommy John, and then you had the COVID season of 2020. So you lose the back half your sophomore year of college, your entire junior year. Then you get 2019. Then you have to shut it down again. And I know you probably played in some instructional league games, but there's nothing like with the crowd in the stands and at Driller Stadium or wherever you may be. There's nothing that can replace that, or in Morgantown playing in college. So you've had so many stops and starts, and with as big of a curveball as you have, has it been difficult for you to stay in a rhythm or get back into the rhythm?
Tommy John, it is what it is, and I missed a lot of time there. But the COVID one really was frustrating for me, just because I played a full year, and then the COVID season 2020, I was supposed to kind of be let off the leash a little bit and get up to a normal pitch count, and then ended up not happening. I spent some time at the alt site, but it's not the same, like you said. It gets a little bit Groundhog Day like. Just same hitters every day, and you just don't get the same adrenaline bump that you would in a real setting. So but I was thankful this year. Played pretty much the whole year, had a couple blips where I had to miss some time, but made 22 or 23 starts, something like that. So I think by the end of the year I was way more consistent than I was at the beginning of the year.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And it was one of those deals to where I just kind of wanted to make sure that people understood that as far as Michael Grove goes, this is a guy that, and I know you don't want to make excuses, and I'm not making excuses for, and there's no excuse to be made for anything, but I want to make sure people understood that, going from not pitching for a year and a half to getting a year in, then having to wait, having to not do the 2020 because of COVID, that's a tough deal. So this 2021 year, I think we saw it with the big Dodgers this year, coming off even just a shortened season a year ago. You getting as many innings as you did, that's a tough deal coming off of, especially as a minor leaguer, not even getting in games as far as being at minor league sites. So that I wanted to make sure that fans understood the difficulty level of that. But we now are in the off-season part of it. You mentioned raising your pitch count throughout the year. And to do that, obviously, you got to build arm strength. And one time that you do a lot of that is in the off season. So take us through the routine for Michael Grove in the off season.
Yeah, for me, I really only take maybe 2 weeks off from throwing, and then just not heavy at the beginning, of course, but I throw pretty much all the way from October till spring training starts. Just even if it's 3 times a week, light. Just gotta keep the arm moving and keep focusing on things I need to work on with my delivery and that kind of thing, mental reps, all that. With weightlifting this season, I'm trying to put on some weight, maybe 10 pounds or so this off season. So for me, it really ramps up in December with throwing and the more emphasis on the mound and on pitching. But these first couple months, I really like to just kind of take care of my body and kind of make sure nothing's bugging me, make sure, I'm really getting after it in the weight room, putting on some pounds and kind of building for the season.
Spent the entire 2021 season this year in Double-A Tulsa. Expectations for 2022, do you expect to start back in Double-A Tulsa? Do you expect to move up to Triple-A Oklahoma City? Do you have any expectations that way, or are you just playing it day by day in the off season?
Yeah, I really don't have anything on that end. I just, whenever we show up to spring training, I'll probably have a better feel for that, but haven't had any discussions on that.
Yeah, and obviously being from small to midtown America and making it big like you did, I would like for you to address all those kids that pick up a baseball and a bat and a glove every summer that might not be from the major meccas that the hotbeds of baseball talent are from. And what advice would you give them to someday possibly be Michael Grove like you are and be in the position you're in?
I think the biggest thing that you can tell kids is that there's not one path that everybody takes to get to where we are. You know, I have teammates that play Division II. I have teammates that play Division III baseball. I have teammates that are small. I have teammates that are big. I have teammates from all kinds of backgrounds and places in the United States. So I think the biggest thing is if you're good enough, they'll find you. And if you don't feel like anyone's finding you, then go find them. And I just think that you have to make sure that people understand it's not one type of person that gets to play. There's a lot of different types of people, and just find what you do well and you know, get as good at that as you possibly can. Not everybody's going to play professionally, but you know, maximize what you have and let the chips fall where they may.
Michael, that is a fantastic answer, and I think everybody got, you know, whenever I talk to young men, you know, anybody can pick up and look at the stat sheet and a box score and all those kinds of things. So when I talk to guys like you, my goal is to kind of make sure that people understand who Michael Grove is, not necessarily just Michael Grove, the pitcher. And I think you did a wonderful job this evening on DodgerPokeReport.com, letting everybody know who you are so they can root for you in the future. And I promise you, I will be rooting for you. I followed you ever since you're in West Virginia. And then obviously being a huge Dodger fan, following you through that. Everybody here at DodgerPokeReport.com are big fans of you. And just thank you very much for joining us tonight, and best of luck in the future.
Hey, thank you very much. I appreciate having me on.
Okay, Michael. Michael Grove of the Dodgers. He was in Double-A Tulsa this year, and obviously a very, very bright future for him. We appreciate you joining us on DodgerPokeReport.com again, Dodger Poke Report YouTube, and then all the social media platforms, Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. Until next time, thank you for joining us.